Hello everybody, my name is Brooklyn, otherwise known as the Dramatic Otaku, and welcome to this unexpected, it was planned. The part that's unexpected is that I was not supposed to be filming this at 12:30 after work, after I watched this fucking film. So hello everybody, welcome to my Miraculous Ladybug, the movie review, as of recording, has just come out today, or yesterday, seeing as it's technically 12:30 in the morning. We will be talking about the Miraculous Ladybug film, so if you do not want to get spoiled for this film and all the treasures that are inside and want to experience it for yourself, then please exit this video. But for those who want to stay to hear my review, then hello. I have so many thoughts and feelings. As I mentioned, it is the day technically after the release of the Miraculous Ladybug the movie. I was really excited for this film as well as the Barbie movie for this month. We need to talk about this film because it is pretty much everything I fucking wanted out of it, if not a little bit of a letdown, but we will talk about that. So first, the plot of this film. Pretty much, if you take the Origins episode, Miraculous Ladybug, the two Origins episodes, as well as the finale 5 episodes, I don't know, I stopped watching it like 3 episodes before it was supposed to actually fucking finish. Take the very end of the series, plus the 2 Origins episodes, blend it into a fix-it-fic, make it a separate AU where Gabriel has a heart, where Adrian and Marinette have altered personalities slightly, where the series isn't a fucking melodrama, but is a musical, and make it a fucking lady noir fanfiction. That is this film. I wrote this down because I was texting my friend, but if you want to watch the Miraculous Ladybug movie, here is my synopsis of it. This movie is if you take the origins and the very end of the series, make it a fix-it-fic, with the main ship being Lady Noir, make Gabriel Grest an actual human being, add the masquerade ball AU that went around when the series started, and add that to the end of the series, or the movie, sorry, and also took heavily from the original PV for influence. This movie feels like a fanfiction of season 1. That is the basic plot of this film. It is basically, for the first half of the film, for the first, I want to say 40 minutes of an hour and a half long film, it is the origins of Ladybug and Cat Noir as they get the Miraculouses. The plot then continues to about a midpoint where it then decides, hey, you know the rest from here. You know they saved Paris a bunch of times. You know that they're awesome. And then the film goes to the conclusion. That is pretty much the film. So I will say my thoughts of the basic plot structure and story, if it can be its own standalone film, I think you have to have a basic knowledge of the Miraculous Ladybug series to actually fully enjoy this film. It's not really a good going into Ladybug and Cat Noir, this is the knowledge. It feels a lot like a fan fiction of Miraculous Ladybug, and I really appreciate it for that, but if you're trying to get into Miraculous Ladybug, it's not the best place to start. But this movie pretty much encapsulates how I felt in season 1. I was really excited for the series. I was super duper hyped because I'd seen that promo video. Pretty much that promo video is what this movie feels like. It's really captivating in a way. The bit we're promised with Hawkmoth, that's kind of in the film a little bit. It feels like it's actually paying off what that conceptual film promoted, really. It's that kind of vibe. Now, I'm gonna put the negatives before the positives. Personally, yes, the art style, very beautiful. Love the lighting. It is significantly better than the actual series itself. I adore it, but it kind of rushes a little bit. So this entire film, as I said, if you don't know the Miraculous Ladybug series, you're probably not going to appreciate as much. I have been watching Miraculous from the start. I know the plot back and forth. I know all of the characters, all of their like little histories and all that sort of shit. I have watched every single fucking season. When I say this is a fan fiction, the whole reason you read fan fiction is because you know the series and you want to read something based on the series. This feels like it's based on the series. It feels like it's Zag's interpretation of the series, and I fucking love it for that, but it relies a little too heavily on you knowing the series. It does have that, as I said, that bit in the middle where it's like a montage, and it goes like, it's sort of like a, you know what happens from here on out. Like, that feels lazy to me. It talks too much about like the history of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Like, by history I mean like the backstory. Doesn't really go into the romance all that much, even though that was like heavily advertised. And like, it's too far at the front, not enough in the back, you know? Not enough in the conclusion. That is just my genuine thoughts on the film. If I was going into this not knowing about the series, I wouldn't think this is actually a good film. I would think that it's an okay film and that it's clearly a kid's film, but the actual plot relies so heavily on you knowing these characters and wanting these characters to get together, I will say that I did appreciate the beginning and ending and how they were worked out. It's more so the main plot line of like Marionette and Adrian's love, that thing, and like the Lady Noir stuff. The big like love square of Miraculous is what was a big draw for some people into the series. Like, sure, it's a fun whimsical show, but it's also like fun, romantic a little bit, you know? This movie didn't actually have that much romance. It had the romantic lighting, the romantic imagery, all that sort of stuff, but the plot development was a little bit like the character development was a bit stuttery, and again relied on you knowing the characters. It was more so an origin story of Ladybug than a romance sort of thing, which most of the fandom probably wanted to see more romantic shit, especially after what Astrak has done to the fucking series. Anyway, the movie tries to be a romance. That is why I bring it up so much in the start of this video, but it kind of fails to do so. It tries to be the two things that the TV series like really is, but because it's gone on for like 5 seasons, it's like tired and played out. It tries to be an effective kids film where it is teaching kids to be themselves, that they are the superheroes, not the mask, not the powers, all that sort of stuff. They just need to be them. That anybody can be a Ladybug and Cat Noir, that sort of stuff. That is what the like series is trying to teach them as well as being like a fun kid series and being like about all this lore and magic and all that sort of stuff. But the series in itself is also like a fun will they won't they romance thing that I think is supposed to entice more preteen and teenage audiences or older audiences, like how a lot of the Miraculous fandom that does do the shipping stuff is a lot of older audiences, and that's the romance part. Also because it's set in France, romance city, whatever. That sort of stuff, it tries to be both at the same time, and it's not balanced well. Because it starts off being the superhero movie and ends off being the romance movie. So that's sort of like where my mind was going with that. It tries to be the romance movie when it's supposed to be the fun kids movie that's a superhero movie at the same time. Yeah. Those are some of my main criticisms. Another one would probably be, I get that the animation is fucking beautiful. I love the animation. It's so pretty, it's so nice, it's soft. The lighting is fantastic. I love the character designs. I like how they've changed them up. Too many close-ups, way too many close-ups. Like, I get it, they're gorgeous and really good for promotional material. Too many of them, and not enough establishing shots. So that whole thing that I was saying about the plot rushing and feeling too weird and like focusing too much or relying too much on the actual like series itself, and you having an understanding of the series and the characters, making sure that like some characters don't really have a easy plot development or easy character development. That is also mainly because there's not enough establishing shots and not enough establishment and just pause of these characters. It's very, very, very fast paced. So when you get the moments of them zoomed in, it feels weird. It really feels weird. So the movie stutters a bit. I got my friend to also watch the film, or not I showed her a section of the film and she was like, I need to fucking watch this. So she watched it as well, and she also agreed that with the lack of establishing shots for certain scenes, making like the mood fall out or whatever established mood is supposed to be there null, the close-ups like just make the actual plot fully stutter. And again, while that art is visually spectacular, you could have taken the time away from the shots, the close-ups, and put it towards establishing shots. Yeah, there wasn't enough of them, so it made the entire movie stutter, as I've said multiple times. Now let's get into the things that I love and the story elements, which is probably the things that you want to hear. I have made so many notes, so I'm gonna do with the technical notes first. I loved the sound design. The little attentions to detail were phenomenal. Fucking phenomenal. For example, this mainly is around like Adrian and Plag. Whenever Adrian is Cat Noir, the bell rings. The bell around his neck rings whenever he is near. And if he's not in frame, coming into frame, the bell rings. It moves. It is little details that people have been criticizing for years, and like they've put them into the film. When it comes to the technical elements, I love the bell, I really do. I also love the little sounds that like are with Marionette, like with the yo-yo and all that sort of stuff. Plag farting every single time he's on screen. I didn't pay attention to if Tiki had a noise because it was only noticeable when it was Plag. I love that they turn Plag into a little fucking grot. Every single time he does a big movement, there is a little fart sound, and it's so fucking funny to me. I don't know why, it just is. I can't talk about the technical shit. See, this is why I script my shit beforehand. So, this isn't something that I like, but it's something that is technical that I remembered. So, this is a musical. Neither Bryce Papenbrook nor Christina V fucking sing. And I know for a fact Christina V can fucking sing. You have, I believe it is Lou Jean and Drew Ryan Scott as the voices of Marionette and Cat Noir. Now, I was so tricked that Drew Ryan Scott was not Bryce Papenbrook. They sounded so similar, and I was like, God damn, Bryce Papenbrook has a fucking set of pipes. No, he doesn't, because he didn't sing in this film. It was Drew Ryan Scott. Like, they sound so similar, but the same cannot be said for Christina V and Lou Jean. Now, Lou Jean has a fantastic voice. I think if she was voicing Marionette, which I think people would be in a fucking uproar for, if she was voicing Marionette, I think it would suit her. I do think Lou's voice does suit Marionette because Marionette is a teenager. I just felt like it was a better fit. But Christina V is the voice of Marionette, and I fucking know Christina can sing. I just want to say, like, the reason why I'm having such a disparity for this is because their voices are so different. So different. Lou's voice is a lot smoother, a little bit deeper, that sort of stuff. So when, like, first of all, I didn't know this was a musical. When Marionette started fucking singing and it wasn't Christina V, I was so confused. so fucking confused. Because, as I said, Christina can fucking sing. I know she can. I have listened to her Bad Apple cover so many times. So to see her not singing in this film was surprising, but kind of makes sense in a way. Like, because Jeremy Zag composed pretty much all the music. So he probably had a choice on who was singing, and so he may have had an idea of who he wanted to sing. That's fine. But Lou Jean does not sound like Christina V, or doesn't sound like Christina V as Marionette, whereas Drew Ryan Scott, bang on Bryce Papenbrook. Drew Ryan Scott, Bryce Papenbrook, like that in the voice department. But Lou and Christina do not sound similar. So when Marionette started singing and it sounded so different, it was a little bit pull out of the moment. Now, I didn't know this fucking film was a musical to begin with, so either way, it pulled me out of the moment. But as I said, my friend watched this film and she knew it was a musical because I told her. And she was also ripped right out of the moment because she did not expect it, didn't see it coming, blindsided. But talking about voices in this film, something that I fucking love about this film is the depth of character that these characters have been given as opposed to their TV counterparts. Something I love about this film is the fucking depth of it. They've mapped out Paris. They mapped out where Marionette lives, where the school is. They're not right next door to each fucking other. They've also mapped out like where everything is pretty much, and made it a solid place. Have been like, Marionette lives next to Notre Dame and Adrian lives near the Eiffel Tower. That is the geography, that is where we're going with, that sort of thing. The architecture in this film surrounding the school, surrounding the houses, is beautiful. Fucking beautiful. And really, really adds a lot of depth. It really makes you think about how plain the actual series is itself, because there's just so much to look at and it's so visually pleasing. It is what you think when you think France, not whatever the TV series has got going on currently. Then in terms of actual like depth of character, also the voice work, fantastic. So obviously it's the same voice actors as the TV show, but the way that they've been like directed to like speak for this film, completely different. They have breathed like a breath of new life into these characters, and they are fan-fucking-tastic. Marionette's personality is more sheepish, shy. It's more understandable that she has been bullied, and over time, her like confidence grows. We start by seeing this really shy Marionette who doesn't really want anything to do with like the rest of the world. It's not like this huge like disconnect between the Marionette that we know in the series and what's supposed to be Marionette in the previous year before Alia joined her class and before she had her first friend. Because in season 5, they kind of undo that, which is really weird. Like, they give Marionette a friend in season 5 when talking in a flashback, but in the, like, when Alia first arrived, she was Marionette's only friend. And just, there was a huge disconnect between those moments. Here, it's concise. It's very clear that Marionette is not confident in herself. To a little bit of a fault, it's a little bit annoying, but also she's a teenager. It makes sense towards her being a teenager, her having been bullied by Chloe and all that sort of stuff. I really like how they've done her character and how they've built up her personality over the course of the film. I do think some of the songs that she sings feel out of place. Like the start song, really came out of nowhere. It like shows us that she wants to be a fashion designer and is her like I want song, where she's like, I want to be someone else. When we're not really given a reason why she wants to be someone else. It's like at the very, very start of the film before we go to school, you know? But other than that, like Christina Vee has like voiced her beautifully. So unbelievably differently and with so much more emotion than in the actual cartoon itself. And Marionette isn't like the big ah kind of thing as she is in the fucking TV show. She is a person. Then we have Adrian. Adrian has a bit of an ego and it's really fucking funny. He both like is really cold but also has a bit of an ego, which is a bit closer to Felix's personality, which I actually really like. No convoluted storyline about Adrian and Felix being fucking sentimentalists here. Adrian is a bit more cocky in his own private time and all that sort of stuff, and I love it. Bryce Papenbrook does a fantastic job. All of the like other side characters, I feel like they could have given more time to Alia and Nino, but I get why they didn't. Also, Chloe. So yes, Chloe is one of the bad guys in this film, and she is villainized, but not to the extent that she is in the show. I would say similarly she is, but she's not made a downright fucking bitch and is evil with no reason. She's actually made to be like a high school bully instead of this fucking villain. She's much more of the snotty rich kid feel, the mean girl vibe, which I love. Go Chloe, slay, we love her. Is she still villainized? The smidgenest, but nowhere near to what the fuck Astruc has been doing to her character. Slay. And in my notes here, I have written, I love Chloe's VA change and the character design. I do love the character design of Chloe. It feels like really like weirdly French. Like Chloe in the show gives me America. Chloe in the film, French. She's 100% French, okay? But I thought that Chloe's voice actor had changed. The reason, in the fucking show, we have heard nothing from Chloe but her shouting and being ridiculous, utterly ridiculous, for like 3 seasons at this point. So when Chloe was talking normally, I thought it was a different voice actress completely. Until the end of the film, where Chloe was getting pissed off at Marionette. Or sorry, later in the film. I forgot what Chloe fucking sounded like. Also, because she is voiced slightly differently by the same voice actress, much like Marionette and Adrian. She's had more life fucking breathed into her. But to the extent where I thought it was a different voice actress, I find that shit so fucking funny. Now we get to talk about some fun things. Tiki and Marionette singing to the melody of the theme song in the second song that's sung in the entire film. Heart beating so loud. I wanted to cry. That was just such a good little like nod to the show. Now when I said that the movie does what has been criticized in the show and things that didn't make sense, one thing, the yo-yo flies around. That is how Marionette is hooking onto shit. She flies around. And it's also explained in the movie that she has such precise, like, accuracy because of, like, the lady vision she gets. So it's like, that also makes sense. She flies around because the yo-yo flies around because it's fucking magic. And she has precise vision, accuracy vision with the lady vision. I will say, there is no mention of the lucky charm, which they did change it, technically, in the end. We will get to that. But just the little things like that made me feel so fucking happy. Also, Adrian as Cat Noir running on all fours, so funny. So fucking funny to me. He does it multiple times in the film, and it's like, that makes sense. Honestly, it makes sense. And it's not that fucking weird to think that he'd have more cat-like tendencies, because when he first meets Plag is a cat. So, like, I would assume that's Plag taking over in that case, and so Adrian would have more cat-like instincts. Also, Adrian always lands on his feet, except for when he lands in water. Talk about a fucking cat, okay? Also, I love that they brought back the old Hawkmoth outfit. I really liked the rock version of the intro, but that was at the point where it was very like, you guys know the rest of the story, which I'm not really a huge fan of in films, especially tie-in films to a series or a movie that's trying to rewrite the series. Now, in this case, I did like the rewrite a fuck ton, but still, wasn't a huge fan of that section. But I did have a little bit of a gushy moment because of it, because it's just like, you guys know the rest. It's like, yes I do. Yes I do. The glowing jewellery. So I've always wondered like how Ladybug and Cat Noir sort of communicate with one another, like, because they have the devices, but like, wouldn't they have to be transformed to like know if they've got a message on the devices and all that sort of stuff? This film fixes that, because it's a fucking fix-it fic. The earrings and ring glows. If one person is in distress, the earrings and ring fucking glows, so that they know that the other has transformed. I love that so much. So fucking much. I love the personalities of the characters in this film as they've been changed. I also love the masks. So this one's a huge spoiler. The masks that like everyone sees them wear, they can be torn off. They can be torn off. They are clothing. They are not fused to their fucking skin. They can be torn off. But the eyes stay the same. The eyes stay exactly the fucking same. So that's interesting, but they can be torn off, which I love. Now, the next part is all about Gabriel Agreste. The last arc of the film is where Gabriel really comes into his own as a character, and they fucking fixed the shit out of Gabriel Agreste, and I love how they've done so. So, in this film, Hawkmoth is an actual fucking threat, and Marionette and Adrian, like teenagers, when Hawkmoth like dies down a little bit, they're not eerie at all. They are like, sweet, my job's done. I'm fucking out of here. I'm working on my crush. That's what they do. And like, that is like sort of the mid to end portion. But Gabriel comes back as an actual fucking threat. He akumatizes himself, which is like the smartest thing he could have fucking done in the entire series, and goes on a rampage through Paris. And so that scene that you see in the original PV, where like it's death and destruction, like butterflies flying everywhere, that is in the film. That is fantastic. He is an actual fucking threat. I love that so much for his character. But the actual part that I love with my entire fucking heart, the thing that redeems Gabriel as a character, that makes him such a compelling villain for this fucking film, is that he is an actual human being. When I said the masks can be ripped, it is because Adrian's mask in the climax of the film is torn. Marionette tries to get him to safety and is defeated by Hawkmoth. When she tries to save Adrian again, Hawkmoth shoots the both of them, and part of Adrian's mask falls off, gets blown away, that sort of shit. He walks up to Adrian, sees that it is his son. And mind you, in the actual TV series, there was multiple instances where Adrian turned into Cat Blanc because his father had no emotion to him being Cat Noir. Gabriel in the TV series was a fucking robot who Strzok tried to give a redemption arc in the end, but it didn't fucking work. Gabriel Agreste in this fucking film is a human being. When he saw that Cat Noir is his son, instantly he was defeated. He felt such regret, dread, and heartbreak because he had destroyed the city that his son lives in, and he had tried to hurt his son for his own well-being. The one thing that it made me burst into tears for this film and redeemed Gabriel as a character in my heart, which has been done irreparable damage thanks to the TV series, is that Gabriel said, and I quote, about Adrian, my little boy. When the fuck did Gabriel Agreste ever say that in the series? The power behind the words, my little boy, with Gabriel breaking down because his son is the person he has been fighting, that fixed the entire series. Gabriel is a human being with a heart. I love that. That is probably the best conclusion. Sure, Ladybug and Cat Noir didn't defeat Hawkmoth. Marionette and Adrian defeated Hawkmoth. Defeated Gabriel Agreste. Now, I will say, we don't know what happens to Gabriel after all this is done. It's revealed that Hawkmoth is Gabriel in a passing line, so we can assume that Gabriel has gone to jail. And the whole reason that Gabriel becomes Hawkmoth in the first place is because he's going crazy with how much he misses his wife and how much he wants his wife again with his son. And it's the power and going crazy and all that sort of stuff that makes him turn to being Hawkmoth, and he has a physical toll taken on him by being Hawkmoth. That is also something that I fucking love. But just the ending with how Gabriel is revealed, fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. This is probably the one thing. If you have to watch this film, this is the reason why. Because you need to hear Gabriel Agreste say, my little boy, about his son. Because every other piece of media, Gabriel Agreste has referred to his son as my son, my child. Never once has he said, my little boy. The impact. The fucking impact, I cried. I'm not even ashamed to say it. I fucking cried. So, continuing on with things about the movie that was fixed from the series, not only can the masks be taken off, Adrian and Marionette can recognize each other with the masks on, different masks, should I say, and Adrian can recognize Marionette's voice. While at the very end, so there is still a little bit of a plot hole, he can still recognize her voice when she says Cat Noir at the very end of the film. Now I will say, the very end of the film ends on a kiss and they didn't even fucking show the kiss. Thanks, that was so helpful. I really, really loved that. Leave it up in the air, why don't you? And something that I really liked that didn't happen in the original series, Natalie is inferred to be the next main villain. We kind of had that in the series, but she was an underling to Gabriel. Gabriel has had his reckoning, he has been defeated. Now it's fucking Natalie's turn. It is inferred at the very end of the film, because there's like an after credit scene, that Natalie is going to continue Gabe's work. And I'm calling him Gabe now because we're just on that level with him now. This is something that I feel like should have been done for the series. Like, Hawkmoth could have been defeated several seasons ago, and then Natalie becomes the next main villain if they wanted to do a multi-villain villain plot, you know? It kind of felt like in the actual series Hawkmoth was the be all end all. This is not the case in this series, or in this movie should I say, and I really like that. I really, really like that. It feels like Gabriel is a stepping stone to the next big villain. I love how they characterized Marionette's father. It was so cute. They gave him a bit more of a personality while also pulling back on Marionette's mother's personality a little bit. I loved the showing of all of the characters in Marionette's class that we know from the series. That was a very good nod. I kind of want to know how Nino and Adrian became friends because it's not really explained. Like, Alia and Marionette we see, but Nino and Adrian we don't, and Adrian is isolated from everyone at the very start of the movie, so it's like, how do we see? Also, that's the thing I wanted to mention, the powers. So the powers that we usually see in Miraculous Ladybug are not there. Sure, we have the Lady Vision, like, capturing with the yo-yo thing. They've got, like, their super strength, super agility, all that sort of stuff, and it actually benefits them in their everyday life. Marionette is seen to, like, physically improve in her stability, and apparently becomes really good at fucking playing the recorder. So I really like that as well. But the thing that, like, really interested me is Cataclysm and Lucky Charm aren't in this film. Well, sorry, aren't in this film until the very end. Cataclysm is a final move, which, yeah, with that much power, it is a final move. It really should be a final fucking move. And the way that they made Cataclysm was so awesome because it was like a goop coming out of Cat Noir's hands. I loved that so much. It is this big, grandiose thing that we have become so normalized to because it's happened so much in the fucking series. I really liked that. And Lucky Charm, sure, it fixes everything, but Lucky Charm in this film isn't Lucky Charm. It doesn't have a name. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure that Cataclysm only has its name because either Plag gave it to Adrian or Adrian came up with the fucking name. It's not explained. But Marionette makes her own power, and that is creation, because she's the Miraculous of creation. That's her fucking Lucky Charm. She fixes the city by fucking doing this shit, quite literally. And it's used after the complete desecration of the city. There's multiple times where major damage is done to the city and they don't show Lucky Charm. It sort of just gets fixed. But Cataclysm isn't used either. So these are supposed to be like really big powers to be used in very specific scenarios, which I fucking adore. Cause yeah, they are super fucking OP powers that shouldn't be used in everyday fucking life. Are you kidding? I love how it's sort of stripped back to the series and made it go back to its basic roots, because it's made them really fucking effective. Now is my little rapid fire round of like things I like, so I've now watched it for a second time. So, the only instance of TV Marionette, you know, the Marionette where she's like, is the only scene that we see her in is in the scene where she fumbles around in the library scene, and she is way toned down. I love that. I also love the really goofy, weird characterization of Master Wu that they have in the movie. Honestly, really liked it, and yeah, to a normal person, he'd seem crazy saying that they're the chosen one and all this shit. I love that Cat Noir's mask sparkles. I love that it is cartoony and fun in a non-overdone kind of way that doesn't take away from emotional moments and plot lines. It's cartoony at the right times, particularly at the start of the film. The evident difference between the relationship of Adrian's dad with Adrian versus Marionette's dad with Marionette, I think was highlighted perfectly. I didn't even realize, like, that could have been done and made a comparison in the series. It should have been done in the series or done more efficiently in the series. That is something that I just thought was beautiful and a great storytelling device as well. And my last thing of this entire film. No, because why?
Glad you're all right.
Because what was the reason for this?
For a sidekick, huh?
You're fucking joking! Why? Why the fuck did Careless Whisper play twice in this film? And why was it both by Adrian? Is he listening to Careless Whisper on repeat? What is this shit? That's my final note on this movie. It's so fucking funny. Like, unironically, really fucking funny. I couldn't have asked for a better Miraculous Ladybug adaptation by one of the creators. Clearly a lot of passion has gone into it. I do think it does rely too heavily on the series a little bit, but also fixes what wasn't there in the series, but you do have to have an understanding of what's going on in the series, that sort of thing, or at least the basic like boundaries of Ladybug and Cat Noir and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, this movie is so fucking funny. I do think the songs are a little bit displaced, but they're good fucking songs. Hawkmoth's villain song, honestly really good, but I'm kind of a sucker for the like Becoming Ladybug song and the fucking Cat Noir romance song. Both of them I love. But yeah, that's pretty much all from me today. I personally, if you like the Miraculous Ladybug series, I'd give this a watch. I, for you, would give it probably a 7 or 8 out of 10. Mainly because it has been something that we've been waiting for a long time, and I think it's lived up just to standards. It's not quite like exactly what we wanted, but I feel like our expectations might be too high. It's still fantastic. Give it a watch. It is a good 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for me. If you are new to the series, I would try to watch the entire series first, be disappointed, and then watch the film. Because watching this film before the series is a bad idea. Very bad idea. For you, I would say this movie's more of a 6 out of 10. But as someone who has enjoyed the series, who has been there since the very beginning, and who really wants to see more from the film franchise, I would give this a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. That has been my review for today. I would say this is brief, but I've been recording for, I want to say, 40 minutes, like usual, so it's not really going to be brief. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do have more videos coming out in a week, as always. And I hope to see you then. I'm working on some pretty big projects, so I might miss an upload or two. Hopefully not 2. I would not want to miss 2 uploads. But if I upload later than 10 AM like usual, then just know that I am working on my major project. So I'll see you guys then. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!